Hello! Time to get this playtest underway. So I've got a couple of things that I want to do right now. I'm going to start by... Ooh, got a nice little bit of load there. I guess... Hey, good to see you, Toby. I guess I will start with these guys. So I've got a couple of things that I want to do. I've added... So after the last playtest, one of the things that became abundantly apparent is that I needed some more information about what's going on with enemies, specifically type stuff. So I have added stuff for that, and now I want to collect the information on all of the enemies, so that way I can properly verify it's hooked up and all that sort of stuff, and because I thought it would be interesting. I also have added enemies to Evanshire over there. They don't all have stuff for the bestiary yet. I've added bestiary. I'll go over it once I have something to show, which should be after this battle. Ooh, good. Got some variety here. What does this guy even have? I mean, this is probably not unreasonable. I won't do anything against our water friend over here. I don't know. Let's just see how the water ooze. Ooh, got two actions. Yeah, this one I remember we'd nerfed a couple times back. Earth damage. I don't know. Let's just exploding vigor this thing. Mass absorption. Okay, so that's neutral against it. There we go, that took it down. These guys are over-leveled for these guys, so I imagine they should be able to take them down without too much trouble. Because I just grabbed an old party from a couple playtests back. Because I don't need to spend a bunch of time re-leveling people. Well, there is some stuff that I want to check out. That's at the beginning. We'll get to that later. Ooh, you have Cherry Smash. Sure, Cherry Smash this giant rat. Remembering what this team even had on it. Buzzkill. Yeah, okay, that's what I expected. Okay. So this should remember, yep, safe slot, good. Okay. Adventurer's Kit, view bestiary. Okay, now we've got these entries in the bestiary. So the way that this is hooked up, I go into it in a video that'll be coming out in like a little over a week in terms of some of the fine details, but these are hidden items that I present the thing for. I give them to you silently at the same place where I give the bounty. So that's just in the code. In the drops code, when I'm doing stuff with processing your drops, I've added some code that will be like, hey, give them the relevant item if the enemy has it. It's just another tag in their thing, and it'll give you pages like this. Now you can still move around while these pages are up. But this will tell you stuff about giant rats. So what I've got going on here is I've got like the damage type it deals. I've got its stats, so you can get a sense for its relative strength, what loot it drops. If it has any state things, those will show up down here. Then there's a spot for description of it over here. And here we have the type effectiveness, and we've got a bunch of letter grades. C just means it does normal damage. If it's above that, if it's C plus or greater, it does more damage. If it's a C minus or lower, it does less damage. So you can see piercing is a bit better against giant rats, while slashing and striking are a bit weaker. And water is a bit weaker, and ice is a bit stronger. So ice is actually really good early on in this game right now. So I can go to the bestiary and say check out the water ooze. You'll see it's immune to confusion. And slashing, striking, and piercing are all terrible against it. Like light is mildly more effective, wind is more effective, lightning is super good against them, and they're immune to water. So they drop grapes all the time. And they will sometimes drop goo. Okay, so I want to go in here because there's... Oh, hi, nighttime. It's interesting seeing it so dark. There's a couple of types of enemies in here that don't show up elsewhere. Like Forgotten Spirits. We should be able to take that down. Actually, Forgotten Spirits are the only thing that's unique to in here. So now I should be able to open up my bestiary and view the Forgotten Spirit. And it does properly show up first, which is good. You can see it's a creature of unknown origins found only in the equally mysterious ancient catacombs. Still, they're not particularly threatening, so they're likely nothing to worry about. They deal earth damage. They have 120 maximum HP. They can sometimes drop iron ingots, and a little bit more commonly drop stone. And striking and water are both good against them. Slashing and piercing aren't as good. Earth and wind and lightning are all not as good. There's also giant spiders and cave spiders and cave bats, but I can actually get those very easily over here in the mine. This side. Or I can just get an encounter that has one of each. That works too. No, not attack. Just Hydroblast. Everybody else can attack. It doesn't really matter. There. Where'd all these spiders come from? I'll give you a nice slip if you kill these things. Oh, okay, sure. We'll kill more cave spiders. It'll allow me to show off stuff. Yeah, I kind of assume, I guess, that people are familiar with some of that, but it's probably not a bad idea to have some... What I think I'll probably do is there's an NPC at the Adventurers Guild that's supposed to give you information about stuff. So if I go back to the Adventurers Guild... Yeah, let me... It's kind of based on, like, this person right here is supposed to, like, answer questions. Maybe I will add... this NPC has other stuff going on. Maybe I'll add, like, this person, maybe, or... Because this person is the person who gives you the Adventurer's Kit. So maybe I'll have them answer questions about it. By the way, these are going to be kill numbers. So right here, I've killed 5 cave spiders. And 1 Forgotten Spirit, 1 Water Ooze, etc. So yeah, let's talk briefly about this. You can see that these guys sometimes drop mystical dust. So C is just like flat average. It doesn't get modified up or down. So the idea is it kind of works like a letter grade is theoretically supposed to in like... Again, I don't know how schools in other countries work, but in the U.S. we have F. For some reason we skip E, but F through A. So the idea is C is supposed to be like average. It's not a direct corollary, or it's not directly, but is using the same idea. I originally had words written out here to kind of describe each level, but some of them became very ambiguous. Things like somewhat more effective and a bit more effective. Like there's some of those kind of like intermediary ones which were a bit unclear about like which one was better. So to kind of explain, C just means the damage is not modified. It doesn't go either up or down. So then we have like B is better than C. So it goes upwards. It goes C plus, B minus, B, B plus, A minus, A plus, and then S is just like upper tier. And downwards from C, it goes C minus, D plus, D, D minus, F. And then immune. Although now that you're talking about it, or bringing it up, something that I could potentially try instead as an alternative to these would be using... it'd also require explanation. I could use pluses and minuses. So instead of, say, D minus, it would be 2 minus signs for, like, this is decreased sum. F's would be, like, 5 minus signs or something. I'd have to think about that. The potential problem there is that that could also be confusing in its own ways, but it might be a little bit more readable. Right. Hello, Hunting Swan. Good to see you. This is a bestiary page. Yeah, so, like you'll sometimes see in games like, I think some Sonic games have done this, where they grade your performance at the end. So, they will give, or like Devil May Cry, for example, with a stylish meter, it will go from like D, and then up to C, B, A, and then S, and then they go double S and triple S. But for some reason, S is kind of used as like above A. I use it on things where it's like a more than 2.5 times multiplier. So, if we go and view the bestiary on the water ooze, you'll see this S to lightning means lightning is really, really good against it. But it might be better to have it just be like a bunch of plus signs just way out here. But the problem the concern that I have is I think plus signs would read well. Like if light here is like 1 plus sign above. Yeah. So I might just, cause like the idea of having like plus signs that go out would give you another sort of way of kind of analyzing it by length. That's another option. Yeah, it does have some challenges, just because I'd have to specifically... I have a program that I made to generate these sheets, so I would have to go into it and, like... adjusting the individual letter would be a bit tricky with the way that I'm doing it, as opposed to, like, the whole word, the whole line, but it's probably not terrible to do the whole line. Yeah, something... Color coding's not a bad idea. I'll have to add... consider color coding the bestiary entries for effectiveness. I wonder how reasonable it would be to set up color coding for the damage reporting lines. That might be a bit challenging. Let's see, I also want to try out using plus, minus instead of the letter grades. So I like this idea of, and it's easier if I just type it in chat. So I like the idea of using things like plus or minus or less effective, or more or less effective. Like here, light plus slashing, let's see, C minus, D plus, D, D minus, F. I like that idea, but the problem that I have is I feel like the minus signs would be hard to read, because they kind of just read like a null line, I think, to a lot of people. So that's a consideration. I did try having the bestiary come up, like being able to access the bestiary during combat, and what ended up happening is the functionality that I have to make it go away didn't work in battle, so it just kept the bestiary page around for the entire rest of the battle, which was less than ideal, for anybody who was wondering. I could also just have, like, stars and have a certain number of stars being neutral and then go down for less effective and then up for more effective. Yeah. There might be other ways that I can rig something up, but I have yet to investigate them thoroughly. What level are these guys? 10? Okay, that's reasonable. I do not have a scan ability, no. But something that I've added, hunting swan. Let me try to find some other enemies to fight. Yeah, here's a good selection. So, I don't even know what type of damage this swan strike is going to be. Probably light. Like if I piercing gleam this deadly poppy. Actually, I do want to kill the deadly poppy. He keeps getting multiple uses. Exploding vigor, this mushroom snake. You'll notice there it says that was resisted a lot at the end of the damage line, or that excelled. That gives you information about how effective things are. So I've added that. That excelled a bit. That's resisted a bit. So that gives some information about like how effective things are being. Just in terms of type multipliers. So I've added that. I'm gonna heal Hannah here. Want to make sure I get this deadly poppy. I agree, it isn't ideal. It goes by very quickly. I kind of was wanting to add something to the yeah, I was kind of wanting to add something to the pop-ups that spawn here, but I have to track through the code to see how those are generated. Maybe some pluses and minus signs or something. I don't know. Either that or else like the combat log would have to function a little bit slower, more like Pokemon. Yeah, I've not really looked at any of the Yanfly stuff. I kind of want to generally avoid worrying about external plugins because I don't want to have to worry about like crediting stuff, but that's probably suboptimal. I don't know, how do these spiders feel about it? Ooh. There, I got the... Yeah, or worry about compatibility. At this point, I've written so much custom code for this that compatibility is something that could be annoying. Just go ahead and heal yourself. Ship should be good. I will say that I think the damage or the damage effect pop-ups that I have are better than not having them. Let's get this spider here. Oh, spiders resist life damage. Good to know. Do I have... Probably. I want to get this forest spider down. Yes, imbue life. Oh, dark. Okay. Ha! Good thing that snake was fascinated. Yeah, he hasn't attacked anything, so of course he doesn't have any. Just apple smash that thing. I did buff clubs at some point. They were a bit weak. Guess I just keep icy breathing here. Yeah, Hannah definitely has more HP than Asgarduel. There we go. Took that thing out. Okay, I now have bounty slips for those. Okay, cool. Now I can check. Yep. Cave bat. Cave spider. Let's kill mushroom snake. Forest spider. Deadly poppy. Yeah. They are definitely weak to fire. They're weak to ice. Yeah. I'm gonna go out this way. Let's see. I've started adding some stuff here. Let's see. You should be able to equip that. That took a weird... No. Game end and save are not the same thing. Something else that I have started adding some stuff to is the mystical journal. There's a lot of different things in here. So Lionel's training. This needs to have darker backgrounds, I've come to realize. But said to be the skills of the legendary Sir Lionel, greatest hero who ever lived. Of course, in truth, Sir Lionel is capable of no such thing. But whoever said legends had to be based on truth. So they are useful, granting the Fire Strike, Water Strike, Wind Strike, and Earth Strike skills, which is a lot of elemental coverage. It is a lot of elemental coverage. I've begun adding some stuff there, but because that stuff is added to this on acquire, stuff that I've added won't show up in there until I get it afresh. So I want to do a run where I'm picking up some of those things too. Into the journals, the big thing on the journals, I want to give more explanation for stuff, and I want to give stuff on lore. I'm not necessarily going to tell you exactly how the skills work per se. I want to get... Wait, what am I fighting here? Okay. Some buzzkills and a forest spider. Yeah, because now I have access to these. I think the forest spider is weak to earth. I can double check that later too. Alright, they don't care about life damage very much. Two-Hearted Blaster take care of all of that. adding additional stuff to... So you get the entries in the journal when you acquire an item. And adding additional stuff to it. It's a plugin that I wrote, and adding additional lines to a particular text field would require a lot of additional programming work to make that function. I've been thinking some about how I might want to add stuff for even like quests and things. Skill. You have a healing skill. There we go. There's no towns over here yet. But there should be... Oh, great. I got this encounter right off the bat. Cool. Let's see how I do. Yes. This is supposed to be the hardest encounter encountered in this general area. I wasn't necessarily expecting to start with it. You know what, you should just attack some of these skeletons. Lantern flash seems like a good idea. I did need to test this to see how it was. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Whee! Oh no. Oh no. I think this is maybe a little on the stronger side than I fully intended it to be. Cool. I was not properly equipped. Ooh, Scroll of Lightning Reflexes. I should have used that. That would have helped. The problem is, I literally have no good options here. I'll just throw a blast bomb at one of these things. Yeah, I'm just gonna get absolutely trounced. I mean, game overs aren't particularly severe. They just put you back at the last place you charged the resurrection signet. So I mean, that encounter probably should be toned down a bit from where it is. I just added these guys like yesterday, so I haven't really tested against them yet. There's definitely going to be some areas that you maybe shouldn't go to right off the bat. Like the level layout in this, I've come to realize, like, I have kind of a, from a writer standpoint, I tend to be a little bit more of a pantser than a planner. Like, I do kind of a thing where, like, I have to get enough of a pen stroke on the page to have an idea of what I'm doing to be able to plan stuff out. And then I plan out a certain amount, and then I get kind of tired of planning, and then I do more stuff. So the idea, like, lore-wise, is that, like, this area is going to have specific enemies inside this mansion that I haven't made yet. The forest right here does have really spooky guys. Those guys are actually supposed to be easier than they are. That's like the hardest encounter that's supposed to be in there, and I need to tone it down. The skeletons have too much HP. I can tell that right now. Relative to the damage that I'm able to deal. Like, that encounter is not supposed to be that common either. You're supposed to only encounter weaker versions of the enticers. Yeah, like this is a weaker version of the enticer without any skeletons. Like this is the sort of thing that you're supposed to be fighting in this area. So I might need to adjust some of the spawn locations, and I probably need to make the enticed weaker. Like that's specifically a hard encounter. This is just a regular enticer. See, it's not... That was an ancient enticer that I fought. I'm okay with AoE skills being really strong in certain areas. They definitely scale up by the number of enemies, but I think that's fine. These guys don't have any elemental weaknesses yet. I haven't done enough dev work on them for that to be the case. They do have some abilities, like this one, which drains HP and fascinates, which is also not great. Let's see. Bunch of maximum HP. It's not really that significant, but the healing that it does cause is. This by itself is not too bad. Part of it is trying to get a feel for how strong a character actually is at level 10. These things are aimed a little bit more at like level 12-ish. But that should not be unreasonable to fight. Like, again, these guys also don't have any elemental weaknesses implemented yet. Having, like, half my party be fascinated there wasn't great, but... Might as well save my experience points. Yeah, like, this is maybe a more regular group for the area. I'm definitely going to need to adjust spawn rates a little bit. But again, like, death is not particularly punishing. It just sends you back to the last place where you used... this is a couple hours in that you can get to this area. So, here, let me... hide this. So if we go, you spawn up here, and the idea is that you spend the first part kind of adventuring up here, maybe down into this area a little bit, and then you get a boat from here, which I don't know, that's where I've kind of planted it. And then from there, the place you're supposed to go next is down here, which is less than ideal, I recognize. I may have designed the world and then figured out how you progress through it in ways that were not the most logical from a geographical game advancement standpoint, and I fully recognize that. But like, there's lore reasons. It's a mishmash of like making. Again, like the way that I tend to work is I make a bunch of strokes on the page and then figure out what they mean. And then I make more strokes and figure out what those mean. Like, that's kind of the best sort of analogy that I've kind of got for the way that my brain works best. Because if I try to spend too much time planning stuff out, I don't get inspired that way. I get inspired by mucking about and stuff. But at a certain point, I've mucked about enough that I have something I need to figure out what it actually means. So, like, I'm trying to tune this area right here, the forest, to be... actually, if I bring up notes, level distributions right here. That area is the Evanshire Woods. So it's the Haunted Woods is supposed to be 18 to 24. That's the area at the northern part of that. I don't know if you want to call it continent or island where that delineation occurs. But that woods is supposed to be aimed at 12 to 16 for sort of the rough general level range. So you can see, like, Kendra is supposed to be kind of in the, like, depending upon where you are, like Southern Kendra is supposed to be about the 8 to 15 level range, which is about appropriate for where I'm at. But the Avonshire Woods area that I've kind of been wandering around in there is supposed to be 12 to 16. And it's just, it's clear with a little bit of wandering around with these characters, because again, I just made these enemies. This is my first time testing them. They're clearly too strong. The skeletons need to be toned down in particular. So I need to take a quick peek at like my character's stats and stuff too, actually. Now, again, I am a little bit under-leveled relative to this area, but it should totally be feasible to beat most encounters here. So that one group with the 8 dudes is supposed to be more tuned towards the like 16 end. And so it's just very clear that I need to tone it down a lot from where it is. And you're supposed to kind of want to avoid the Haunted Woods at first. It's supposed to be a little bit strong for where you're at. And all that sort of stuff. Interesting that... Hello, Cyberman Sigma. Yeah, okay, so that's a huge lore background thing, Toby. So I guess... let me get this going. So the basic lore premise is that so in the beginning the world was created and there were 4 different species that were made. They all kind of went their own ways instead of like cooperating. They all kind of like developed the wrong priorities. So the creator's like, yo, okay, I'll give you guys what you want, and split the world into 14 different shards. That then like had their own things going on. So for example, say Kendra, they want the Kendra, the name of the original person, the Kendra clan of humans, all wanted to be master hunters. Yeah, I mean it's even more than that, because there's like a bunch of different humans. They all fracture, different things like that. There's another group that one ended up in Mountain Root and the other ended up in Caldisha, that like one wanted super curious in investigating the supernatural and the other like the material, and they get their own split and all sorts of stuff. But the Kendrans wanted to be they were fascinated with hunting, right? And so they get an area where they have to like fight monsters, and that's kind of what they get. So that's like what happened. At the very start of the game, the very first thing that happens is the Astral collision, what the game is named for, where all of these an event has occurred sort of just prior to that, where all of the different shards were able to perform some sort of rite that enacted the Astral collision, that brought all of the shards together and reunified the world. So everything's kind of in chaos, and the goal of the players is you're picking from 4 of 14 different prophets that appeared throughout the sort of time period from just prior to the divide of the worlds to just before the Astral collision. And they're resurrected, and they're basically immortal, because if they die, they just respawn. So resurrection is typically not a thing otherwise, because I really hate it when cutscenes ignore Phoenix Downs. And I haven't really played any of the Final Fantasy games, so I couldn't speak to how similar it is or not. And their goal is to kind of like set things right. Yeah. Astral Insurance would have been a good idea, but unfortunately they didn't have any. So as player characters, your goal is to kind of like set things right and like clean up a bunch of stuff where things have gone sideways. So your kind of initial goal is you have to get strong enough in Kendra, because Kendra is like the weakest place. So you have to get strong enough there to be able to go help down in Ron Piety down there, where Mavina over... Well, you can't really see the cursor. Here, let me hide the game again because it's getting in the way. So here's Kendra. You spawn here. Here's Ron Piety. Ron Piety is the place that like kept accurate records about like the creator and the history of things that way, and they need to like respread the information about the creator. basically when the game starts, these guys like have no natural monsters. So when the game starts, these guys right here in Mavina come down and attack the people of Ron Piety. So your initial goal is to go here and like defend here. This destruction also is caused by Mavina attacking Divertir over here. So you need to also then go and like stop them over here. So you're trying to like stop the initial push here and then kind of over here. And then, like, yeah, you will eventually need to, like, defeat some dudes here and defeat some dudes in Sindire. I haven't quite figured out the, like, full progression and what the end state is, but there's just various goals that you'll have to accomplish in sort of reintroducing people to the creator. And that's kind of the basic character motivations. I haven't set up the stuff to explain the plot to the player a ton yet because I don't want to add a bunch of narration that I have to skip through at the start for testing, like when I'm testing. So that's going to be one of the later things that I add probably, is sort of the opening backstory stuff. And I want the player to uncover a lot of things as they go as well. Because I enjoy sort of the archaeological storytelling of like the Dark Souls games and stuff. I feel like I want a Hydroblast. I should just attack these skeletons. I do want to see some of the things that these do to make sure they kind of function the way they're supposed to. I have at least 38 TP. Oh man. I want some opening exposition, but I definitely want to be careful to not like I want to give enough opening exposition that the player has a sense of what's actually going on. But I do want to be careful to not put in so much that like and that's like I want a lot of the lore to be in the journal. And like just random NPCs you talk to will give you little bits of information and things like that. I do want to be careful to not give you too much at once. I'm not sure how quickly these things should be able to be defeated. Yeah, they're weak to life damage. That's one of the things that really annoys me about RPG Maker is setting up stuff to not affect the user is really annoying. Okay. Thanks for dropping by, Cyber Sigma. Or Cyberman Sigma. Thank you. I definitely want to add like side quests and stuff that will like bring up lore things and all sorts of stuff. Toby. Like, part of it is I haven't entirely figured out how I'm setting up side quests just yet. Because tracking them and all of that. Like, I can add stuff in the journal for it, but then you get like a bunch of partial journal entries, and that's not necessarily... it's setting up stuff for... I probably should just set up something to do quest tracking. I know there's other plugins that exist for that sort of thing too, but... I think I'll just have him Healing Spring himself. Yeah, you can just attack these skeletons. I mean, I'm using a lot of my own plugins. Oh, that's not good. Okay, I'm curious to see if I just attack this. Oh. Okay, that's becoming less and less ideal. Like, ultimately what I want to do is use Unity, not RPG Maker, but that's another matter entirely. Because the AI, I kind of want to dig into the AI systems and figure out if I can make it less, I don't know, have more smarts. I want to be careful about adding, like... So one of the things that's because I have 14 different playable characters that you pick from the beginning, I want to be careful to not add too much. Like, I should get rid of that fascination. But I want detection of, like, okay, if allies are dead, do this. If you're by yourself and you had other allies, do this. I don't know if that can be rigged up through triggers. I'll have to look into that. Well, right now I'm just checking to see if this will use a skill that I added. And if so, what it does. By itself, these things are not supposed to be particularly threatening. And that's certainly proving true. Especially you use it every 5 turns. But even that system's borked. Like, it just adds that as being possible, from what I can tell, not guaranteed. Which is really annoying. I mean, I'm expecting for people to pay for it eventually. There's going to be a lot here, and it's going to be a lot of work. Hello, Sinus. Good to see you. How are you doing? Okay, this also has purge conditions. I'll use purge conditions here. Give Ice a turn to... Oh, you have bandage wounds. Right. To recover some MP. Right now I'm just testing to see if this thing will actually use a skill that I gave it, and if so, if that skill will work. Because I'm not actually sure. So I should make sure it doesn't cost TP. I don't think it does. I think it's just an MP skill. But unfortunately, it's like every 5 turns, and it doesn't seem to be interested in trying to use it. So I'm kind of just chucking attack commands at this thing. It's not really the way to overcome it. Because I don't know if if AI can resurrect dead allies. Nope. Doesn't care. Whatever. This is enough thinking about. Begin using some actual skills here. It's more about getting people into an endless dance than anything else. Oh. Well, that's going to make things interesting. I think Purge Conditions here is a little bit better. Yeah, AI doesn't seem interested in using that skill, probably because it's every 5 turns and it takes forever for that to come up. I should have an entry now in the bestiary for Enticed. I think I need to drop that HP to like more like 600-ish. The priority value for the skill, it's 9. But there's a bunch of other skills, and as far as I understand, the system, I could be wrong on this, but as far as I understood the system, it was more like adding items into a grab bag that they pull from. So that way, like, 9 is 9 times more likely than a 1, but you could still get the 1. Again, I need to look at the AI code. But to answer your question, everything else is... Oh. Never mind. Only the Ancient Enticer has the skill. Regular Enticers do not, so they won't use it. That would explain it. That would explain it real well. Right. I have another way that I can test that encounter then. Let's go get beaten up by some things up here. So this is something else that bothers me. There's not like a default battle back for Dead Woods. Also, why did I have to get the doubler? Oh well. I think this one's maybe the more threatening one? Question mark? I don't know. Let's just go after this one first. Okay, don't use regular elements against that. Ooh, that one worked well. Of course, this might just end me. These guys are not meant to be fought until later, so if they kind of wipe me out, that's expected behavior. The damage from that first one's really deceptive because it also cuts your maximum HP. Also, none of my healing skills are actually going to do much right now because all of my characters are cursed, and cursed reduces how much healing you can get. I checked, and like level 40 characters absolutely just steamroll these guys like they're nothing. It's hilarious. I mean, I should probably get rid of this double encounter, quite frankly. Whatever that's worth. See if I can take this guy down with me. Hey, I can. Now, Whale of Doom will probably take me down, but, you know. That's fine. Quick way to get back to the other side. And I need to change that game over graphic. But... I think I've gotten a lot of the things in my Bestiary. Yeah, there's some stuff in the caves, though. Ooh! Ooh, that's good to know. Hello, bug. Pressing escape while selecting stuff from the bestiary gives a null. Okay, I think I know why that happens. Let's start a new game, actually, because I want to. So this is the starting area, and you're selecting from these heroes. I forget what starting equipment. You know what? Let's just do this. Wee. These. That's what they are. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Mystical Journal. Yeah, Rusty Dagger. An old rusty dagger. While it might at first blush appear just as good as any other dagger, its extremely poor accuracy will soon prove it less effective than anticipated. Best replace it as soon as possible, though it can be salvaged from materials. Rusty sword. Okay, all that text is fitting as well. Man, I really need to... You know, I should be adding this to my notes. Darken the journal's back pages so you can actually read things. I'll need to look into that. But right now, it's real hard to read these entries and areas because, like, it overlaps. I got this makeshift staff. And I should have an old tome. Tattered tome. Let's see, there's other stuff that I made some text for. We'll have to get it later. Who do I actually want in my party? So, talking to the purple one is just a debug option that gives you literally everyone in your party, and that's pretty ridiculous. Actually, Mishizo is real good early on. And so is Sophia, honestly. Yeah, you get one of these swords. Ooh, yeah, you get a pipe. Oh, what would be best here? That's 60 to 80. Oh, this old pipe is clearly terrible. It turns out debug information that, or debug options that give you literally everything. All the characters give you way too much equipment there, but you know, debug options. I know these people use mage stuff, or well, she can, but she has apprentice skills, so whatever. It's not important. I don't know why I stepped in the water there. The water heals you, but I don't need healing. I definitely need to adjust some of the loot that occurs in these areas, because there's too much, like, healing potions. You just drown in healing potions. And, like, yeah, it's good to give the player some healing potions, but I don't need to give them, like, 15 by the time they get out of here. Okay, you just start with just Valiant Attack, which is a little underwhelming. Yay, you have additional healing skills that you probably don't need to use. Oh yeah, let's just end this cave bat. Actually, she gets some actual spells, though, because she gets to be cool like that, because she's apprentice mage. Phantom Kunai just ends that. Oh, spiders resist. Excelled a bit. I got some goo. I have mixed feelings about someone. Huh? That's... I feel like that's an idea that I like, but not for here. I think I just want to change some of the healing chests to other types of items that are useful. I think I just need a few more, like, random consumables that do things. Rather than just giving a bunch of potions. I don't know. Like, realistically, the answer is probably make this area less big, because it's realistically bigger than it needs to be. I could also give some more crafting materials, possibly. I don't know. But I do know I'm gonna give Sir Lionel that Squire's training. Ooh, we've got multiple enemies. But he can't use Blitz yet because he doesn't have enough TP, because he doesn't have enough wind to have gotten a ton of TP yet. Oh, she starts off with a ton of TP, though. She must have good wind stat. I kind of want to adjust. So starting TP is like a randomized value that I then buff by your wind stat. I think I might just make it just rely on your wind stat and not have that randomized value, because that randomized value... I kind of want to get rid of that inconsistency. Sorry, I don't have context for from 1 to X. Oh, I should get that cloth. See, Sir Lionel cannot use spell sword training. Shizuo can, though. So Sir Lionel cannot use Lionel skills. I love that little bit of world building. It's one of those things where, like, the start of the game is probably hard to evaluate from the perspective of knowing exactly what's going on and having played it a bunch. It feels like the sort of thing that's hard to judge. And can I this bat? And fireball this Forgotten Spear, please. Pipes are just not great. This pipe is just not very good. I don't know. Everybody just attack this thing. It has like no HP left. Like, part of my problem too is I want to change too many mechanics. Like, I do something like, I'm not entirely satisfied with that. And like, part of me wants to go back and say, you know, maybe I should actually do like specific characters and have things kind of work more of a different way. And I'm like, but that's requires too much reworking of everything. And I keep wanting to pull out walls and put in new walls. And at some point, you need to not do that so you can finish making the friggin' house. Everybody just attack this thing. That should be fine. I got him move off. Had like 2 HP left. That's part of why I had him use the pipe, because it does striking damage, which is good against this Forgotten Spirits. Yeah, you can Valiant attack this cave bat. And you can attack this cave bat. We're just gonna do the standard here. Fireball that. Phantom Kunai that. One-shot those things. Hey, level 2. See, this is the problem with having a party of literally everyone, is whenever you level up, everyone levels up. And it takes forever. I don't know. So right now, everybody literally levels up at the same rate, right? They get the same amount of experience, or there's no way to deprive a character from getting experience. And so and everybody uses the exact same curves to level up at the same rate. So I kind of wanted to keep everybody in sync. What do people think of that? Yeah, Valiant Attack is way better here against this K-Bat. I should replay Squire skills on him sooner rather than later. Ooh. Got the one shot. Yep, more healing potions, more cloth, martial artist skills, which I probably underutilized. Wow, did that chest have 1 gold in it? A bunch of these chests have randomized values for how much gold is in them. So. Alright, that worked. That door's locked, so you can't just leave right off the bat without going through the adventuring area, but you can easily come back here to like heal and whatnot later. Read lore on these tablets that I haven't written yet. So many little details that need to get filled in. I want to finish collecting some of the loot in this place. That's just the thing of mushrooms. I think I'm going to skip that. I'm just going to add a note. Make beginning of battle TP consistent. Bard's training, some healing potions. Actually, I've not given you a skill set. Let's give you martial artist training. Sure, I'll grab these mushrooms. Whatever, I don't feel like being fancy here. Just attack everything. Hey! Why did he go from, like, level 1, this pipe is terrible, to, like, level 2, this pipe is just smashing everything in pieces? He must be just getting better luck on his damage rolls or something. Okay. Let's go activate this. Ah, man. I have so much lore I'm going to need to write. I kind of want to flesh out the world enough that I have a stronger sense of what that lore is supposed to be consistently. Oh, something else that I am toying around with, by the way, is for certain NPCs who can tell you about monsters to give you bestiary entries now instead of like dialogue. Like this character's supposed to give you information about bounty targets, but currently I haven't implemented anything there. Welcome to the Adventurers Guild. I don't recall seeing you around here before. Do you wish to become a member? You look strong enough to qualify. Here, take this membership card. You'll be starting out at rank 0. Received the guild card. You can turn in bounty slips you get from defeating enemies to rank up, and get more gold from turning in slips, and access to more guild services. You also need this Adventurers Kit. You can do all sorts of stuff with it as you progress up the ranks. I need to adjust this dialogue, because right now you can only use the bestiary at the start, not cook. I have to limit options. Okay, I'm really curious. Adventurer's Kit. Just view the bestiary. I have killed 6 forgotten spirits, 15 cave bats, and 3 spiders. Interesting that there's been so many more bats. Bats have no particular weaknesses or resistances either. I do like the idea of coloring stuff based on what's effective. So what I'm wondering with type effectiveness is the coloration that I use. It seems clear to me that I use red for stuff that's less effective. I don't know. That's just what I'd color it. I tend to aim towards green for stuff that's more effective, but I know that's going to run into issues with red-green color blindness, which I'd kind of like to avoid. If I can, on stuff that doesn't have icons. I could alternatively... What do people think about this? Because I can add in color, because color can help call stuff out. What do people think of adding, like, a descriptor after the letter grade? Like, just putting something like C, normal effectiveness, C minus, down to F, less effective, and like C plus to S, more effective. Okay. There's a bunch of stuff up here. So if I go, provided it doesn't randomly become morning while I'm in the middle of walking here, this NPC right here, if I talk to him, you can ask him about monsters right here, and he'll tell you about stuff. Well, do you think a different system that maybe is like, I don't know, based on a different way? I mean, it's a valid point. So, what would you use for gradation for that? I don't think I actually have anything that does absorption, but I kind of... So what you're basically saying is that you would use Pokemon type stuff where, say, your normal types are weak to fighting. So just weak, strong, and immune, and normal, basically. So yeah, a lot of stuff kind of uses that. So what I have going on with a lot of stuff is those let's go over here. Those letter grades. So if I go over to the enticed right here, you can see that like piercing is not... They're not immune to piercing, but it's absolutely terrible against them. They take a little bit more damage from life, double damage from striking, and half damage from slashing, right? They also have really good evasion rates, so they definitely need way less HP. I'll probably tweak some of these figures in a moment here. They don't need this. I'm gonna be removing. I'm gonna be tweaking these guys a bit. I mean, it is effectively immune, yeah. So like, this actually a better example would be these Zeus's. These guys have 10%. This is pretty close to immune. These are get Fs. This would get an immune rating. But I like things like the light being 110 versus like lightning here is 250 versus wind is 200. Like it's clearly an adjusted effectiveness where this is even more effective than that. but there's also what it really comes down to is at what point are things too nuanced to matter is kind of what the basic argument is, right? And something like 10% is so close to immune that it effectively functions as immune, for all the more that you want to use that damage type. I don't know. Like, the letter grades are kind of abstracting away from some of this. So, like, this would receive an F, and the 5% would receive an F, and it's like up to 19%, I think, would receive an F. And then like 20% to 39% would receive a D minus. That sort of thing. Because I like some of my 75s and some of my like 110s and stuff. I don't know. Yeah, it's I can definitely see an argument for having a more simplified range, just because I'll have to think about that one. Because it's basically an argument of like how much should you care? And like even rather than, because like what I do, yeah, it is. What I do over here, actually more towards the end of this document, is I tried having like these letter grades, and this gives you the rough idea of where the lines are drawn. But this was super unclear in the middle of combat because you couldn't parse it in the brief period of time that the thing is up. So I just switched over to these messages, where if it's less than a third, it's resisted a lot. If it's between a third and 2/3, it was resisted. If it's between 2/3 and 1, it's resisted a bit. Right, yeah, there's a nice... I'll try a couple of different things to see if I feel like there's something that presents more of an understanding. Right. Well, that's kind of why I was going for like, oh, this is a bit more effective, sort of excelled a bit, excelled a lot, that excelled. Like this language gives you a sense that something did better, and you don't necessarily have to think about it too much, but it does give you a little bit of sense of like, oh yeah, this did way more than that, sort of thing. But again, like what you're kind of bringing up, which I think is definitely worth thinking about, is how much does 10% more effective really matter to the player? And should I maybe like yeah, I mean, it just tells them that it did a lot more than it normally would, right? Because like the other thing that I could potentially do, because it's this game, game's probably not the right word, but it's this balance between like presenting the player information that is meaningful and helps inform their play, but not overloading them with like information where they can't parse what's going on. Like this whole system that I had prior to even the letter grades was just too abstract. There's too much like somewhats and things like that that were really really hard to parse, and like what does this actually mean? It might be appropriate to like say that excelled and just like cut off the bits, right? Or even just like, hey, if it does more than 50% increased damage, just call that out. Or if it does like less than 0.67%, call that out. And don't worry about giving this much gradation. But like, does the player need to know if, they're attacked at 10% less damage or 10% more damage? But like, where's that line of where it starts becoming meaningful information that the player's going to want to be able to make use of? Versus like hiding the mechanics, and at that point, like, how much do little variations matter versus yeah, I'm gonna have to think about this a good bit because I like having my little variations, but maybe that's something that the player doesn't need to know about as much. I'll add that to my notes. Maybe little variations don't matter as much. And like the thing is, in the heat of battle, do you need to know how much better it was versus just knowing that it was better? I kind of think that that's probably okay. I don't know. I'll have to think about that one some more. What matters much for the letter grades? Also try just giving the raw multiplier percentage. Let me rephrase this. Think about what is meaningful information regarding weaknesses and resistances. Should I go with a consistent, not consistent, a restricted set of values to make things simpler? Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to think some about this. I do like the idea of these guys, like, ask about playing Scorpion. Instead of him, like, rambling here about them, or, like, maybe after he rambles about him, it will say, like, gain bestiary page on thing. I like that idea. Make... Right, and that's why I'm avoiding some of that language. Like, so the original thing would be like, that was somewhat more effective. And it's like, what does that even mean? So that's why I specifically have, that was resisted a bit, that was resisted, and that was resisted a lot. Because I feel like that makes for a clearer language about how much, or like that excelled a bit, that excelled, and that excelled a lot. Just because of space considerations, that's why I did that language. But like again, I need to figure out let's see. Make NPCs that give enemy information also give you bestiary pages. This guy will also sell me materials. I'm gonna need a lot of hide for stuff, but right now just give me some wood. I need to go back inside the thing because I need to go pick up. There's a wing in there that I need to pick up. Yeah, it's definitely... I think it might be that chest over there. There we go. This... Nope, that's cloth. I think there's a wing in here somewhere. Nope. Not enough for Blitz just yet. I definitely think the messages are better than not having messages for how important type stuff is, but I can definitely see that, like... Because, like, ideally, what I would like is something that... So, like, the new Pokemon games have this... Or the newer Pokemon games have this functionality where once you've battled something, it will reveal a skill or move effectiveness on the skill selection screen. And that's something that's really nice for meaning you don't have to keep in mind, like, what's good against what. Like, you don't have to memorize the type chart. Realistically, what I probably should do is have a consistent vocabulary for, like, categories of enemies. That can also help. Like, bugs I've been trying to make consistently weak to striking damage, for example. Any of these will just go down, whatever. So, what I'd like to do is those little damage pop-ups that occur next to the enemy, I'd like to have something that says, like, great or poor next to it for if it's more effective or less effective, and I just need to figure out where those things are done in the code so I can make something like that happen. But I think they're kind of awkwardly set up, too. Or I could have, like, some sort of, like, star with a plus sign in it and, like, a circle with a minus sign in it as an icon that can show up next to it. Maybe that's an idea. Figure out putting damage effectiveness pop-ups next to the numbers. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm missing something in here. Let's just check. Yeah, I don't have a wing. I feel like I typically have a wing when I come out of here, so I feel like I put a chest in here that has it. There we go. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, adding a bunch of... working it into the state system. Oh yeah, no, absolutely, I'd put it after the number. I would definitely put it after the number. I agree, putting it in front would be the best way to cause confusion. Yeah. Oh, well, I got a wing from that, so that works. Oh, here's the chest. Was this the chest with the wing in it? No, that just has cloth. I mean, I'll take all the cloth I can get. I definitely need it. Yeah. I mean, and you can, too. Like, healing is typed and will get reduced. So, like, if you have reduced water, if you take reduced water, Healing Spring will heal you for less. And if you take more water, it'll heal you for more. So you can reduce the effectiveness of healing for yourself if you really want to. I mean, it's quite possible to happen. I need to break this down into feathers. Okay, yeah. I also gave myself just a bunch of, like, junk at the beginning I don't need. Oh man, so much friggin' yarn. Okay, now that I've salvaged a bajillion and a half things. I need a woodsman's axe and a hunter's bow. A walking stick. Okay, good. I can make one of each of those. Let's see. Woodsman's axe. An axe used by the woodsman of Kendra. For the most part, it is nothing special. However, it does grant a useful technique for cutting down the harrows that grow in the woods of that land. Maybe I should have more text there. I don't know. I've got room for it, but... Hunter's bow. Many adventurers in Kendra get their start hunting monsters, more often for parts than for food. While many monsters can technically be eaten, all of them taste horrible. What makes the bows wielded by these hunters special is their ability to imbue their arrows with a special enchantment that... I'm using special maybe a bit much there. I should just use an enchantment. With a special enchantment... Okay, let's make notes. Description for Hunter's Bow should drop the special in front of special enchantment so that I'm not using the word special so much. Notes. Okay. The ability to imbue their arrows with a special enchantment that causes them to deal metal damage. This is particularly useful against the plant-like monsters of Kendra, which are very resistant to the piercing damage typically dealt by arrows. And I also made a club, a walking stick. A solid walking stick, more practical than ornamental, it nevertheless displays some artistry. It's clear the carver knew the purpose of such a stick, however, and made it strong enough for use in combat. Not only is it an effective cudgel, its sturdy construction provides a boost to its wielder's ability to guard against attacks. Even simple travelers in Kendra must be prepared to withstand an attack by monsters. A sturdy walking stick like this would be invaluable to such folk. Cool. Typo extra in walking sticks journal entry. This shouldn't say description. This should say journal entry for Hunter's Bow. It's amazing how much reading things back helps you pick up errors and spelling and such. Let's see. I want to view the bestiary. Slain so many cave bats, everyone. What should... I'm going to have to experiment with a couple of different things. What I'll probably do is I have a channel on my Discord server for Astral Collision, and what I'll probably do is I will set up several variants for this type effectiveness thing, and feedback there would be like I'll probably look for feedback there. Let's go get more of this stuff. There's a bunch of goodies up here. This old adventurers area. Phantom Kunai is going to be a bit better than other stuff. Yeah, just finish that bat. Or that rat, please. Give me loot. Here for all this loot. Literally, like I came up here because I wanted the loot. I don't care about figuring out which one of those has the mushrooms in it. One of those barrels has mushrooms in it. I'm not looking. Yeah, I guess like the main thing at this point would be getting these characters up high enough level. Was there anything else that I wanted to check on journal entries for? Or have I given everything the journal entries that... Or have I checked all the journal entries that I gave things to? I think everything that I can obtain. No, there's some adventurers. Like the adventurer's dagger has a description. And like the adventurer's tunic, I think? Go see if I can make those things or if I need more stuff for them. Okay, you. I need a dagger and I need a tunic. Thank you. I might as well give these to her while I'm at it. Oh, you can use the bow. Yeah, I'll give you the bow. Give you the axe, I guess. And you the walking stick. I'm gonna want to salvage all those junk pieces of equipment. Okay, dagger, adventurer's dagger. A dagger crafted by a craftsman of the Adventurers Guild. It grants the backstab skill, an attack that always results in a critical hit, but that only hits once. Also, as it is a stab, it deals piercing damage rather than the typical slashing damage of the blade. Whether or not this is a positive or a negative depends upon the enemy. Otherwise, this is a standard dagger. And tunic, adventurer's tunic, crafted by the Adventurers Guild craftsman. This is a simple but well-made tunic. It is easy to move in, though like all tunics, it hardly qualifies as proper armor. As a bonus, it comes with a handy personal supply of antidote, which can be used to cure poison, a condition inflicted by many of the monsters found throughout Kendra. I wish there were... How do I want to phrase that? I want all of my states to be identifiable, and there's an awful lot of icons in the game that kind of get absorbed by the things. And I want the consistent visual style of the standard RPG Maker icons for the most part. Making additional states can be annoying. Otherwise, a lot of things would make states. Let's go salvage some stuff. That's right. I picked up another makeshift staff. Okay. Did I check the pipe? I might not have checked the pipe. Here's the pipe. Old pipe. An old bit of piping. It seems solid enough, but quickly proves to be hard to keep a good grip on, resulting in weaker blows than expected. Truly, this old piece of plumbing is best melted down into its constituent metals. A salvager could do that no problem. Constituent. Is that spelled correctly? I think it is. Sometimes I'm never sure. Yeah, I have the walking stick that I already found the spelling error on. Or not the spelling error, the typo, the grammatical error. Hunter's bow, which has special use too many times in a row. And the woodsman's axe, I already looked at. There's also the royal Kendran sword. I don't think any of their armor has descriptions yet, because I was going through a bunch of weapons. It's daytime, so I can go buy that. You give me this sword. Royal Kendron Sword. A sword forged for the Royal Guards of Kendra. It grants one the ability to use Parry Stance, a useful skill that gives plus 100% counterattack chance for the turn. Unlike adventurers who venture forth, the Royal Guards are taught to defend and protect. Their primary task is to safeguard the ruler of Kendra, though they also see to the cities and roadways throughout the kingdom. What they do is extremely valuable, but it often is outshone by the fame given to the adventurers. However, many brave adventurers got their start as guards. While we're here, let's grab these too. I want a lot more like NPCs milling about in some of these areas. As it is, they're a bit on the lifeless side. Okay, let's... I think at this point, what I'd like to do is I'd like to tweak the skeletons down a bit. So let's close this. And do that. So I think I want to drop these guys to like 652 HP. That seems like a good non-round number. Actually, let's go load up those level 10 characters. Yeah, these guys. All right, I'll take a look at it afterwards. Status, that's where we see numbers. Okay, so this guy does have 50 strength. So like 50s are not unreasonable. Yeah, at this point 50s are pretty reasonable at like level 10. Okay. I just wanted to confirm that. Ooh, that's a lot of icons. Okay, let's see. So dropping that's fine. These are perfectly fine numbers. Attack times, I want to go down. I'm going to lower the attack speed a good bit. I don't need that attack times thing. The main thing is that drawing icons is a giant pain in the rear end too. The big thing is I want to try to have visual consistency with my icons. Yes, I think the rest of this is probably fine. I don't know, I'll have to play with them a little bit more. I basically cut their HP in half. I definitely need to give these guys some tweaked things as well. Let's see. Earth and Ooze have like 600 HP. Where are... Because these should be... like Killer Wasps have 1400. Okay, so the Enticers... This guy should probably be down to like... I don't know. 1730. And the Ancient Enticer should probably be more like 27, I don't know, 83 or something. I like using a lot of these non-round numbers. Again, like a lot of the appeal to me for RPG Maker is not having to worry about making art and audio assets. So, also, where's that troop with two of... Yeah, this troop. This troop is is bad needs to go away. I'll just make this the one that has the Wraith Lord in it. The Wraith Lord doesn't do anything yet, but having that asterisk is because it needs to be finished. Having 2 of them in one group is a little bit much. Which reminds me, I can test this group here. Battle test. Sure, whatever. These guys are level 20. See how level 20 should be able to like clear this out without too much difficulty. This is where having access to a bunch of area of effect stuff really helps. My goodness, that slicing winds is ridiculous. Oh no, she's gonna deal so much damage to herself. Oh man. That's a serious downside to that flame swath. I mean, these characters are all very strong, so relative to this anyway. Oh, I gave somebody a spear, apparently, or maybe that's a scythe. I don't know. That's probably a scythe. Wow, those are very weak. It's fine. Well, that's less than ideal. Okay. You can attack there. Just imbue life. Healing, hot spring there. And imbue life. Yeah, let's just heal my party up this turn. So I want to see this monster should theoretically be able to resurrect enemies, and I want to see if that works. Oh, well, that's not great. I think that's a skill that only these ones can use, too. I don't think the regular ones can use Enticer's Song. Right. Well, let's just heal everybody, I guess. And hope they knock some sense into each other. Hey, punched himself in the face. Good job. Healing light here. Yep, you have at least 51 TP. I'm just gonna, like, tank here rather than try to kill this thing. Just because I want to see if it will properly do what it's supposed to. You know what? Just guard. I needed to test guarding anyway since I tweaked it. Are you gonna try to use the No. Come on. You can choose to do stuff here. I'm waiting to see if it will use a specific skill, so. Ooh. You know, guarding should probably reduce the chance of being afflicted by conditions. I like that idea. Guarding should reduce the chance of being afflicted by a condition. Right now, I may have made guarding too good. I don't know. We'll find out. I don't know, just guard. Guarding gives you a minor amount of HP and some NP and other things. Ooh, that hurt Isa quite a bit. Actually, you kind of need to heal yourself, don't you, buddy? Okay, I know you use Enticer's Song. Will you ever use... Yeah, yep, I know. Let's get this off of him. I want to see if you'll use the skill that you're supposed to use every friggin' 5 turns. But you don't seem interested in doing. I really want them to, or I really wish RPG Maker had inbuilt better specification for some of these things. It really doesn't. Yes, I know. Enticer's Kiss. It's a move. Congratulations. North. Well, this thing's using too many skills to heal itself, but. It's not going to just die from degenning from poison. Like, Enticer's Kiss drains HP. See? Guard. Healing Hot Spring to get rid of that, and guard. Again, I'm waiting to see if this enemy will actually use one of the moves I gave it. That's supposed to use every 5 turns. It seems... Okay, you know what? Never mind this. It's clearly been way too many turns. Let's just end this thing. No more just tanking around. Bye. Okay, so if I go to the Ancient Enticer, what if I put like a 1 here? But maybe lower this down to like 6 or something? Let's try that and see if that solves the issue. Because I wanted to potentially use this move. And it wasn't, and that's very annoying. Yeah, this is fine. That party did just perfectly fine, so. I mean, yes, flame swath your face in again. Why not? The good news is she's wielding a scythe, so whenever she gets a critical hit, she heals herself. So that's how scythes work. They don't do bonus damage on critical hits. They still get max damage rolls and stuff, but man, some of those rolls of 1d4 dark are really good. I still need to wait like 5 turns. This is what, the opening salvo? Having stronger characters definitely helps a lot. I think those guys might be immune to poison, because of course they are. What the? Wow, I got wrecked there. Maybe use a resurrection signet to get Isa back up. That seems like a prudent move. Oh, I just got absolutely wrecked by this. What happened this time that I got absolutely wrecked, whereas previous time it didn't matter? That was interesting. Again, these are level 20 characters, so they shouldn't be struggling this much. I should probably tone down some stuff. Well, that's a strong start. Okay, that didn't clear out as many this time. Like, that one was fine, so I don't know. Yep, gonna be taking a lot of reckless dances here. A lot of them, apparently. My goodness. Right. Okay. I mean, sure that it's everybody. Everybody heal yourself. Ooh, I got Aura of Restoration. And their max HP went up. Yeah, I can definitely assess some of this a little bit. Again, I'm wanting to specifically try to test stuff that the Ancient Enticer is supposed to be able to do. I guess just take out the enticed. Because again, wanting to test... Nope, that's still not... Good ol' absorption. It's supposed to do 109 damage. Oh, yeah, but these guys have really, really high evasion, so they take less damage from stuff naturally. I think I need to lower their HP more. That's what I'm thinking. Because it's the interplay between, like, what is their relative health when they're taking, on average, 37% less damage. No, the absorption ended. Oh well. Piercing Gleam, this thing. Come on, we should be able to take one of these things down. Okay, so this basically full heals them. Easily full heals them and then some. I can tone that skill down a bit too. Potentially. If I want to. And that's gotten a bit weaker. I don't think any of these guys have bashing damage, which is what would help here. Okay, so the Enticer is doing something different. Is it the different thing that I wanted it to do? That's what remains to be seen. Yep, Rise to Dance again. Hey, it works! Also, oh no, it works! Okay. So the real question is, should they be allowed to do that? You do have to get a bit later into the fight for the Enticer to begin being able to do that move. I think the Enticer probably is going to be bad at healing herself too. Although she's cursed, which makes her just bad at being healed in general. I kind of had to wait quite a while for that to be able to happen. Yeah, 1d4 of Dark is doing its job. I mean, okay, we were able to clean all those out without it being too big of a deal. But I think the skeletons still need to have a bit less health. I mean, let's just reckless bash that thing again. There, that'll clear up that problem. Okay, so the answer to my fundamental question of can monsters resurrect monsters is absolutely they can. There'll definitely be some areas where I likely want to employ that. Like right here, for example. But I've gotten my answer to my question. You get an absolutely astronomical number of skulls from that fight, by the way. 7 skulls found. So many skulls. Okay. So, things that I learned from that fight. First of all, I learned that these guys need, like... I'm going to try 312 HP. I'm going to lower their max MP a little bit. Maybe to, like... 67. I don't think that matters too terribly much. They don't have a whole lot that does that. They should theoretically have an ever-increasing chance to lightning spin. I'm going to bump this up to a 4. The Ancient Enticer needs stat things. I am probably going to lower the likelihood of this a bit, but make it able to start happening earlier. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. You do get a lot of experience points for beating this encounter. Whatever that's worth. Yeah. I think I'm overall okay with these guys at the moment. I don't know. I'll need to try that encounter at like level 16. Those characters were level 20, which is slightly above where they're supposed to be for it. So let's try like level 16. Battle test. Because level 16 is supposed to be where that's at. It should be beatable at level 16. Oh yeah, she has a Tome of Life. Wasn't really using that much. Wasn't really attacking much in general if I could help it. Okay, so if I'm just using these characters... Actually, do you have... Oh, it doesn't really matter. Probably the more optimal thing here would be if she can use the mace. But I don't know that she can. Use a club. I feel like if I were to be wielding a club on her, it'd be an orangewood club. And then probably an orangewood focus. That ruby ring. Can she get Squire's training? Yeah, let's give her Squire's training. Just to give a slightly different set of options. See how that plays out. Ice imbued scimitar with an oak with a carved oak focus. And elementalist skills. Honestly, he's probably better off walking into this with mage's training. Okay, let's see how this feels at this lower level. I mean, this Flame Swath is probably more powerful, realistically. And then Gust here, and 1d4 of Dark. Well, that's not exactly what I wanted. Okay. Yeah, those things are dying a little bit more easily. Which they should. This will probably take him out. I'll try this again at like level 10 as well and see how it feels. Wee. Plus 103 fire damage. That sounds reasonable. Healing hot spring. Okay, cool. It will do what I need it to do. There we go. That's some reasonable damage. No! It's basically the worst thing that could have happened here. Oh man, everybody wants to beat up on poor Isa. Which is better. I think healing Hot Springing Jennifer is probably better because she's got a bunch of healing skills. Well... Okay, as long as people are smacking themselves in the face, it's not as big of a problem. Heal Isa. Power attack this thing. Healing Hot Spring Jennifer. Just kind of testing out this encounter and like trying to tweak some of the numbers on it, you know? I'm just trying to get this thing killed at this point and seeing if it's like reasonable to do. Healing Light yourself. Honestly, Orange Smash is probably the best idea. Let's actually use that. One of the things I'm thinking about right now is notice how some of the, like, none of these characters are low on MP. And that's because they have too much MP regen with stuff. With their water stats. I assume. This has been using a lot of TP, so that's not a huge problem. Ooh, more strength and dex, eh? More fire and wind is not bad there. Okay, well I accidentally overhealed Asgardiel, but whatever. Yeah, just Piercing Gleam you. That Reckless Bash looks pretty good. Strength and Dex are not really helping here for Jennifer. I definitely want to make sure the Enticer's skill is not getting used too commonly. That was less than ideal, but oh well. Ooh, his water went down, eh? Earth going down is actually way more helpful on that enemy, but... Let's get rid of that fascination. Good. Fear on it is helpful. Okay, we took it down. It didn't ever use the res skill as well, which is fine. Okay, so how does that... If I just run that back at level 10 instead of levels... Not level 0, level 10. Then how does that feel? Ooh, started with Enticer's Joy. This is going to boost all of their maximum HPs. Also, it's going to take a while. I think if you don't have enough AoE, this fight might be absolutely wretched. And Hydro Blast should finish wiping out the skeletons. Nope, nope. That one survived the Hydro Blast. Got by the gust. Let's have you use Healing Light on Klissa, and then Klissa can use Reckless Smash on this. Yeah, the numbers are definitely lower for what I've got going on here on my characters. But with that barrage of stuff, we actually took it down to less than 50% HP. This will boost it up some, though. This would be a lot harder if I didn't have access to Healing Hot Spring. Healing Hot Spring's a really good skill. Although, Isa doesn't have enough TP to actually be able to... Oh, that'll help. What are some of the other conditions I've got? Party level... Switch... Because a lot of these aren't as useful without the... Yeah, I don't know why they don't have a condition for, like, number of alive... Or, like, number of dead allies or number of alive allies or whatever. Smash yourself in the face. I mean, Reckless Bash, I guess? Let's just get her dead. Okay, well, we were able to take that down at level 10. Again, this party has a lot of AoE. And it leveled everybody up to 11, so that's fun. Okay, well, I kind of feel like I've probably gotten that one into roughly good state. Which means that some of these should be fine as well. I have to make sure that they're not too easy. But I'd rather them be a little bit too easy than too hard, so... Alright. Is there anything else that I wanted to do any playtesting with? I just need to make a lot more stuff, frankly. Is where things are at this point, so... I think that's gonna probably wrap stuff up for me for today. There's just a lot more game to make. That's really what it comes down to. A few things in general that I'm also kind of thinking a lot about is, do I provide items that allow the player to raise their stats? How much do I allow that sort of thing? And... Oh... My brain just had a great idea for the name of some items that I might put over there. And then... Yeah, okay. Okay, brain, you can stop thinking about that now. What I was thinking about is some items that, like, raise your maximum value in, like, stats, but also then have a multiplier that decreases it. So that way the higher the stat is, the less benefit you get from that thing. Kind of want to make a weird hold item, or a weird item here for these guys now that does that. That's just like, yeah, this adds something to all of your stats, but also like decreases all of them, so that way your higher stats go down more. Because that's addition plus multipliers is fun. But anyway, what I'm thinking is some things I'm looking at are like max MP, because right now with everything with characters, never mind that one. You know, you have your traditional sort of curve where the higher your level gets, the more maximum MP you have, which I feel like is a fairly typical thing to do. But I'm beginning to question how much I want that, because it makes balancing skills really tricky. because the more MP you have, the more you can use them. I'm also going to need to attend to, like, play patterns and other things. I don't know. One of the big things I'm kind of looking at is the way that the player tends to lose is by being run out of resources. So I want to, like, balance out healing effects and versus damage that enemies deal and stuff like that. And figuring out, okay, how am I making it so that way the player will struggle against these enemies? Because, like, one of the things that I've run into that can become a problem in some of my testing, like, for example, against these guys right here, is these guys have some ridiculous skills that they can use that just absolutely destroy your party. And part of the reason for that is, like, Shriek of Doom right here, that they use more the higher their HP. But Shriek of Doom, or Life Ender. Life Ender is another one. Life Ender does damage, dark damage equal to your maximum HP, which means that if you resist dark, it won't one-shot you, but otherwise it probably will. I added skills like this because, but it costs TP to use, so they have to kind of build up to it. But I added skills like this because one of the issues that I was running into is I could out-tank this thing, right? My party was able to have so much healing that they could use that they could just kind of tank it and not care. And so what I'm thinking I need to do is I just need to examine a lot of my systems to kind of figure out how I want to tweak stuff. Because I feel like the way that I'm countering party healing here is cursing things with Shriek of Doom, and then having one-shot skills, which is a bit ridiculous. And, like, this one-shot's a character. That's not the worst. You have Resurrection Signets to kind of be able to counteract that some amount, and these guys are supposed to be scary. But when I'm having to do that sort of thing, because characters that are way under the level that these guys are at are able to kind of, like, fight their way through them too effectively, that starts to become a problem. Basically, what I'm running into is I kind of want, like, I've done a bunch of all sorts of random things to even out sort of the levels and stuff. I don't know. What I'm kind of feeling, and what I'm going to have to give some serious thought to, because it is a huge redesign, is make it so that way characters do not gain stats on leveling. Rather, you get items that then you make into things that you grow your stats with. And then maybe characters only have, like, 12 levels, and each level is just a skill, and they have different experience curves and stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'll discuss some of this on my Discord. But I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here for now, because I think I've basically tested what it is that I wanted to test. So I've got a lot of stuff that I want to think about. I've got a lot of stuff to make. But I thank you, everyone who was able to come and hang out. And thank you for watching and for chatting and all that good stuff. I will be back with more playtesting in a week. And we'll see how things have developed at that point. But until then, everyone, take care. Thank you for watching. And goodbye.